Welcome back to Skyrim. This is episode 3. We'll be continuing with the quest. Uh, the the training of the Dragonborn is actually a fairly good quest. Everything is fairly straightforward. There's not much guessing. One of the weird things that I think they have put into the quest is that the troll on top of the mountain. Yeah, I'm listening to this guy. Because I seem to have remembered that he gives you a quest that's up there. I didn't quite know.
I wish
so
I
just
could make my
listened to the
deliveries
story.
more often, but the road's getting dangerous. Passing through on your way to High Hrothgar? About to make a delivery up there myself. Mostly food supplies like dried fish and salted meats. You know, things that keep fresh for a long time. The Greybeards tend not to get out much, if you catch my meaning. Well, it's kind of an understanding between us. I mean, it just wouldn't feel right to charge them for a bit of preserved food. Trouble is, my legs aren't what they used to be, and climbing the 7,000 steps takes its toll. Really? Well, that would be kind of you. Here, take this bag of supplies. At the top of the steps, you'll see the offering chest. Just leave the bag inside, and you're done. Be careful up there.
He brings it up that he doesn't bring food up there. But it's like that he brings food up there for the Greybeards. But it never explains why he does it. Like, as they say, they don't get out, so they're not protecting the town. They don't really do anything. Like, is it kind of just they maybe started as protection money, and then, like, people just kind of forgot why they were doing it. It just kind of became an offering. Because it's the kind of thing of most powerful beings on top of the mountain. Your town is right next to the mountain. So, like, if they wanted to attack your town, they could. There's not much that the townspeople could do about it. And they're respected throughout the kingdom, so they can't bring it up to the king. Yeah. One of the things that I don't get is why, why the developers put this part in, because it's just kind of pads out the game. It's like, it could have been just straight steps. And also, it's like, the steps are, I guess they're not that worn. But it's like, stone actually degrades very quickly up on mountains. Just because the ice gets, like, between the cracks and just breaks them up. Like, maybe they were much larger back in the day. And it's like, yeah, you can't cook the meat with using your firewalls, but it's never explained that. Because wouldn't it just, I mean, would fire, I guess fire directly applied to meat that long wouldn't cook it. It might singe it, but I guess wouldn't really cook it. But the troll up on the mountain that's coming up, it kind of makes me feel like they weren't expecting you to kind of do this till much later, because I don't know when it shows it, but I actually did get hit by the, like, I don't think it was in this recording, but I did actually get hit by the troll, and I did pretty much take like all my health, and I wouldn't be that much higher than what somebody would normally be at low level. Like, I know that I'm not wearing armor, but somebody that was doesn't have that much more armor at this point. Like, I think like they have like 14 armor, and it sounds like a lot compared to none. But like, I think I still got hit by heavy and still took like half health from it. And it's like you can't really stand up to him. Like even destruction is a fairly powerful class, and they still have a really hard time with the troll. Also, I don't get why it gets staggered. Like it seems like a fairly large beast. So. I mean, I'm glad that it does, because mechanics-wise, because I guess if you're kind of hitting it from afar, you're not wanting it to hit you. So if you can stagger it, which is the kind of thing of bows and arrows, like until you get up to higher archery, can't stagger anything. But it does bring up the question, like, what makes it stagger them? I mean, I guess low health, but that was more meaning, like, when you actually do get those skills, like, what are you actually doing that staggers them? Like, we might be bringing more logic into it, but like, with arrows, if you just pull harder back, then you're just going to make it go deeper. It's not really going to stagger if it goes deeper. Like, it doesn't really even do that much more damage, because the arrow seals the wounds. So, like, you'll still be bleeding, but you won't be bleeding as much. Well, I mean, I guess if they're staggered, if it goes all the way through, I can see that. But like with fireballs and that kind of thing, like what staggers them? Like, it's not it going through them, because fireballs don't go through things. They, impact and don't leave much of a mark. Well, burns, but like it's not enough to really stagger. Yeah, I was looking around seeing if anything I could really take, because I usually do end up picking up the quest at the bottom of the mountain, but I never really turn it in, because every time I'm never really nearby, and I'm usually doing something when I see it, so I don't really have time to go through there and turn in. Probably is going to be a really small quest. So I usually just put it in there and I kind of just forget about it, because you don't really have a max quest load.
So, a Dragonborn appears at this moment in the turning of the age. First, let us see if you truly are Dragonborn. Let us taste of your voice. Boost!
So they can see that you're Dragonborn.
Dragonborn, it is you. Welcome to High Hrothgar.
Yeah, that makes sense. They say they sensed you.
I speak for the Greybeards. Now, tell me, Dragonborn, why have you come here? We are honored to welcome a Dragonborn to High Hrothgar. We will do our best to teach you how to use your gift in fulfillment of your destiny. That is for you to discover. We can show you the way, but not your destination. We are here to guide you in that pursuit, just as the Greybeards have sought to guide those of the dragon blood that came before you. You are not the first. There have been many of the dragon blood since Akatosh first bestowed that gift upon mortal kind. Whether you are the only dragonborn of this age, that is not ours to know. You are the only one that has been revealed thus far. That is all I can say. You have shown that you are dragonborn. You have the inborn gift. But do you have the discipline and temperament to follow the path laid out for you? That remains to be seen. Without training, you have already taken the first steps towards projecting your voice into a thum, a shout. Now let us see if you are willing and able to learn. When you shout, you speak in the language of dragons. Thus, your dragon blood gives you an inborn ability to learn words of power. All shouts are made up of 3 words of power. As you master each word, your shout will become progressively stronger. Master Einarth will now teach you Ro, the second word in Unrelenting Force. Ro means balance in the dragon tongue.
This feels right out like the first shout all the Dragonborn learn. And shouldn't there already be like a crack in the floor from where the other Greybeards have taught Dragonborn the spell?
You truly do have the gift. But learning a word of power is only the first step. You must have rockets and constant practice in order to use it in a shout. Well, that is how the rest of us learn shouts. As Dragonborn, you can absorb a slain dragon's life force and knowledge directly. As part of your initiation, Master Einarth will allow you to tap into his understanding of Rome.
This is a very ineffective way to teach the spells. Because it is shown later that they can just write them down and show them to you. It's like, so why aren't they like out in the field, like finding the shouts, writing them down,
To strike the targets as
and
they
like,
appear.
and just have your character read them. Have somebody there for if the Dragonborn shows up, and like is able, and just have the person able to like call the Greybeard back, and then just have the Dragonborn read the scroll. I mean, I get it, it's game logic.
You learn quickly. Once more. Impressive. Your thumb is precise. You show great promise, Dragon. We will perform your next trial in the courtyard. Follow Master Bori.
And they said if they're sharing their knowledge with you, are you taking the knowledge and they just don't know it anymore? Or is it just you pretty much Xeroxing their memory? Where it's like they still have their memory. It's just like if they still have the memory, it's not exactly a gift.
We will now see how you learn a completely new shout. Master Bori will teach you Wood, which means whirlwind.
It's called a whirlwind, but it doesn't really have anything to
Hear the
do with
word
whirlwind.
within yourself before you can project it into a thum.
And also, beyond what they've set up for the use, I've never actually found a use for it. Because it seemed like they set up situations where it's like you don't need the shouts. So it's like, it kind of does feel like, what's the point of having shouts in the game if they're never really needed? I get it. It is kind of a playstyle of, you know, just pure shouts. Because you can, like, pretty secure your character like that.
Will demonstrate whirlwind sprint. Then it will be your turn.
I mean, I hear there's a necklace, but it's like, can you disenchant the necklace and, like, just make it like a full set of the stuff?
Your turn. Stand next
I'm
to me.
genuinely
Master
asking.
Bori will open the gate. Use your whirlwind sprint to pass through before it closes.
Yeah. So I've only used that shout like
Your
2
quick
times.
mastery of a new theme is
I already have beaten the game.
astonishing. I'd heard the stories of the abilities of Dragonborn, but to see it for myself. You were given this gift by the gods for a reason. It is up to you to determine how best to use it. You are now ready for your last trial. Retrieve the horn of Jürgen Windcaller, our founder, from his tomb in the ancient fane of Ostengraf. Remain true to the way of the voice, and you will return. Sky, got you.
Yeah. As I said, I don't record the audio at the same time I record the gameplay. Like, I recorded the gameplay like a couple of days ago. Just because I don't have the same amount of...
Need a ride? Where do you want to go? Climb and
I
back.
feel like
we'll
I
be off.
just kind of have random thoughts whenever I'm
I can take you to
playing.
any of the whole. Where do you want to go?
like, I spent like 10 minutes just thinking,
Climb
if,
and back, and we'll be off.
pondering if a horse can float.
Get up there.
I never looked it up. But I talked to somebody about it, and they said that they thought that they could. I kind of do agree with them. Yeah, I don't see much use for the down by the... yeah. I used it to see if I could get all the way across the water. Because it doesn't really send you that far. I know it's just the level 1 spell out of 3. But it's like... it might save you like a minute. Because it's like... if you used it full... like if you used it full, it might save you like a minute. And it's like... you know... because... and it takes like so long to recharge. And it's like, even with the level 1, that it kind of is useless. No, I haven't tried it in stealth, so I don't actually know if it'll like worse in the battle. So it might have a use, just I don't know of it. But yeah. At the end of this, like, dungeon is like the last time that I used the Wolf spell. Yeah. Another reason that I don't usually pick stuff up is that I just forget to sell it off. And like, they don't... other times I run across enemies, I still just have iron weapons. And it's like, you run in the vampires that have like the silver weapons, you don't usually run into like really far into the game. And even the vampires' weapons aren't that great. Yeah. some reason, all the dungeons that just have a layer of fog. It's hard to tell stuff apart. Yeah, it's always kind of funny, like, whenever it does that, and it just bounces off shooting. But it's kind of when you're facing other magic casters, it's kind of when if you're a magic person, if you're a magic person, it kind of wears off. Like, you become like extremely weak because they always have like better magic. Yeah, sorry, I was drinking my water bottle. Narrating. Yeah, so I'll just grab the gold off of the bodies. Yeah. And it's like, it seems like the higher level, like, dungeons that you go to, like, the more straightforward everything is. Yeah, that's like, I don't know how to survive that. They had it's just so hard to see past a fire flare. Because I don't know if it's the game, like if it's generally hard to see past. Because I do have light sensitivity, so like kind of bright lights do kind of trigger it. It just kind of becomes hard to see stuff. I can see in the dark. Like pitch blackness, I can see. But it's like even room level light is kind of sometimes too much. Yeah, drag around the jars. I'll sometimes like walk in somewhere, remember something, and then walk out. Restless drivers are one of the funnest things to fight. But like, they're the kind of thing, they're more target dummies. Because it's the kind of thing that they move so slowly that they really can't catch you. But you can pretty much just toss out your spells and like have fun with it. Like even like pretty much chaining your spells. Like I would like fire like usually with the Restless Dragger, usually like the most I fired into them was like twice when they're down. Maybe 3 times. But like yeah, and so kind of sticking to the spell thing. The potions. I haven't quite given up on them yet. Then eventually I kind of will. And save them for whenever I kind of am doing boss battles. Yeah, this is one of the most confusing places. Because it seems like the path is leading one way, but like the path forward is kind of straightforward. So So it's really hard to tell, like, in here where you're going. Hey, that's one of the most annoying things about the mage, is like trying to get a dual cast off, but it's like you're just a fraction of a second too late. Like as I said, like what it should be is like you hold both of them down, and it just turns into a single, you know, fireball. Because it's the kind of thing of I've never really needed it where I needed to fire two off, like quickly. Like if I'm even attacking two different enemies, because it's better to just fire like the main one off, like a two-hander off, and then like if you don't have the mana for another one, just spamming the like one, like getting as many ones out as you can. If you just don't think you can hold them off long enough to get another two-handing up. It is kind of annoying also that they're triggered by more proximity than they are sound. So like you might fire something off and nobody comes out. They'll like walk by and they suddenly find out you're there. Yeah, I don't think I actually found the other side of that door. I think it is because I kind of found the way out. That I kind of stopped looking after that. Yeah, because like these platforms like look like you can really jump across them. But it's like until you like look at some of the farther away ones, you really can tell that you can. It does give more of a tour of old, but it's more, it gives that tour when you kind of stand back and think about it, and when you're really there. No, the skeletons are more what triggers old. Yeah, I decided to just kind of, yeah, because that's one of the things is like, if I'm done with battle, I'll usually try a potion maybe, but it's like, those that can do no potion runs, I do respect that, because it is like extremely difficult. Not a no potion, a no healing run, like there's no healing spells, because it is like really difficult, because potions, like unless you're buying them, are like very rare to come across. Even when you're buying them, you're most likely going to be getting a minor than you are than getting like more of the upgrade one. And it's just like if I had like more health, like if I was pumping more health into it, then I guess you wouldn't need them as much. But it's also like I can get full health from 4 minors. Because it's like, they don't heal you really for that much. Like the max one I've seen is like a 75, which is like if you haven't been leveling up your health, is a lot. But like if you have been, like it tends really not to be. Like to get out of trouble, you need like way more than that. This place kind of gets confusing. It's really even hard to tell like where you're coming from and where you're going. So yeah, luckily you do kind of have the beacon with the flame jets. as long as you remember where they are. And they keep the enemies fairly simple. More easy than simple. But they do have bows, so they do a little bit of damage. Yeah, I was kind of testing how long that did it. I usually was actually here for like half an hour before I figured out like what to do. But like this one, even then, like I wouldn't really remember what I did because I've done this quest like several times, and each time I had to like figure it out. As like my mind just wouldn't store, because it was usually like several months between when I would do it. And some of them, like I wouldn't even do the story because it's like, the story, it's not that interesting. Like I found the class stories more interesting than the main one. And like once I think I get through this room, I don't think I ever use the like whirlwind again. I mean, it's fun for puzzle solving, but like when you do kind of expect it, like there's a point later where I did expect it and it wasn't. So it was like, it did more feel like a wasted opportunity. But whenever I thought about it, it did make more sense. You guys might know the points I'm talking about with those little clues. If you don't, it's fine. Like, I think why the quest is not that interesting. It's more feels like you're doing quests of, I guess, more convenience. Like, it just kind of feels like you're dealing with more of the trifle stuff in the quest line. Like, I watched the Game Grumps play through this, and like there's like 2 points where they just pretty much skip entirely. Like, which if you haven't seen the Game Grumps like glitch playthrough, that's maybe one of, at least for Ross's best. Yeah, like doing YouTube videos, it really does like bring your appreciation for the craft of the video making. Like it gives you a new respect for those kind of people. It is kind of hard to, make a video and be like, that could have been better, and like having to post it anyway, because I may record them later, but I don't plan on what I say. I might kind of remember what's in the video, but it's kind of the thing of if you played the game, you kind of know what's in the video too. Because it's like if you played a mage destro, your playthrough probably looks fairly similar. I don't know why the bandits were there. Like, I haven't taken anybody down, and that's usually when the bandits come out. Like, I haven't killed anyone. Well, I guess those are mercenaries that come out. Yeah, I didn't really get the point of this part of the quest, because it's like doesn't really feel necessary, and it's like it kind of feels like they're trying to push a surprise that isn't that great of a surprise. Like, it's something, it may not be able to guess the details, but you do kind of hear about them.
I'm the innkeeper. It's my business to keep track of strangers.
Those kind of people won't really be gone,
Attic room.
like in games.
Well, we don't have an attic room, but you can have the one on the left. Make yourself at home.
We got rooms and food. Drink, too. I cook. Ain't much else to tell.
I don't know what really the point of which bed you lay down in really matters at that point. Because you give her a keyword.
So you're the Dragonborn I've been hearing so much about. I think you're looking for this. We need to talk. Follow me. Close the door. Now we can talk.
Yeah, I don't really get the point of this thing. Because it's like, I think it would make more sense if there actually was like an attic room that you could access. But I mean, I guess this does make more sense in world view. Because it's somewhere that they can kind of hide.
I think you're the Dragonborn. I hope they're right. I hope you're just playing dumb. I'm the one who left the note in Ustengrav. You can't be too careful. Thalmor spies are everywhere. I didn't go to all this trouble on a whim. I needed to make sure it wasn't a Thalmor trap. I am not your enemy. I already gave you the horn. I'm actually trying to help you. I just need you to hear me out.
I've tried a lot of options, and she always
like I said in my
gets
note,
offended.
I've heard that you might be Dragonborn. I'm part of a group that's been looking for you. Well, someone like you, for a very long time. If you really are Dragonborn, that is. Before I tell you any more, I need to make sure I can trust you.
Yeah, this one I was just trying to progress the story, but
I
really
shouldn't
couldn't
let
tell
you
which
walk
one
out
would.
of here knowing what you know. But I guess even my paranoia has its limits. You know where to find me when you change your mind. Because you will. You have to. I'm part of a group that's been looking for you. Well, someone like you, for a very long time. If you really are Dragonborn, that is. If you don't trust me, you were a fool to walk in here in the first place. I knew the Greybeards would send you there if they thought you were Dragonborn. They're nothing if not predictable. When you showed up here, I knew you were the one the Greybeards sent, and not some Thalmor plant. We remember what most don't, that the Dragonborn is the ultimate dragon slayer. You're the only one that can kill a dragon permanently by devouring its soul. Can you do it? Can you devour a dragon's soul? This is no time to play the reluctant hero. You either are or aren't Dragonborn. But I'll see for myself soon enough. Dragons aren't just coming back. They're coming back to life. They weren't gone somewhere for all these years. They were dead, killed off centuries ago by my predecessors. Now something's happening to bring them back to life, and I need you to help me stop it. A few years ago, I said almost the same thing to a colleague of mine. Well, it turned out he was right and I was wrong. I know they are. I visited their ancient burial mounds and found them empty. And I figured out where the next one will come back to life. We're going to go there, and you're going to kill that dragon. If we succeed, I'll tell you anything you want to know. Kynes Grove. There's an ancient dragon burial near there. If we can get there before it happens, maybe we'll learn how to stop it. I need to get into my traveling gear. Give me a minute and I'll be ready. That's better. Let's get on the road to Kynes Grove.
Yeah. I feel like the only people that really have that interesting of a gear set, because it's like, that looks fair. Like, I think it's only leather armor, but it's like the only ones that really have that interesting of a gear set is like the Nightingales.
Orgnar, I'm traveling. You've got the inn till I get back.
Right. Happy trails.
I'd say the Thalmor are close second, I guess. Nah, I don't say close. They're still fairly plain. Yeah, I decided to go back to the Greybeards just so I could kind of cap both stories at the same time.
Ah, you've retrieved the horn of Jörgen Wimco. Well done. You have now passed all the trials. Come with me. It is time for us to recognize you formally as Dragonborn. You are ready to learn the final word of unrelenting force. Da, which means push. With all three words together, this shout is much more powerful. Use it wisely. Master
Because,
Wolfgar
again,
will
I
now
don't
gift
get
you
why
with
they
his knowledge of
crack their
Dao.
floors. That's better than me. More careful with that mountain.
You have completed your training, Dragonborn.
Yeah.
We would speak to you. Stand between us and prepare yourself. Few can withstand the unbridled voice of the Greybeards, but you are ready. Mindra Rossis Saran Strundul
Yeah, I don't actually really get the point of this. It's supposed to be kind of cool. It's like, not really. kind of does seem like they're more making up words. Because instead of Thum, it's Thumu.
Meis du ismir Lovadebrod Dama da Rock.
Which Thum is a little more intimidating than
You
Thumu.
tasted the voice of the Greybeards and passed through unscathed. High Hrothgar is open to you.
And they said few can withstand it, so who else can withstand it? I'm guessing each other, because they are kind of standing like apart from each other, like they're standing across from each other. Yeah, I did that to and I'll see you. That'll wrap it up for the episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.